got to change it to public after you start it, which is not a problem. And then we can play with it later.
My live stream right here.
Oh, where was that?
In the same place, stream info.
Broadcast details. Before you started, now the button worked, right?
Yeah.
I think it's that button that's up.
Jummah number 2. Who's giving the
11-6, brother Hayder Qaadri. Two. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Did you see the PG count? I don't know if he came. Or he came. That's state trooper. That's Laurel police.
Is this right? The QU?
QAA. QA.
You see.
Brother, I was just telling me. I mean, he told me to call him. But okay, yeah. Inshallah. I'll make sure he did. Did you get some too?
Where?
You brought one for our mom.
Yeah, no. Walaikum salam. Barakatuh. How are you, brother Hayder? Good, alhamdulillah. Alright, this is ridiculous.
सारों से मिला लिए मैंने जितने भी जर्म्स है सबका ट्रांसफर हो कर दिए मैंने ऑलरेडी ट्रांसफर भाइयों में ट्रांसफर हो जाना चाहिए क्यों भी होता भाइयों में ट्रांसफर हो जाना चाहिए सारा कैसे आप ठीक है so Furqan here you saw Furqan here you didn't see me that's because of Furqan I'm stuck in this जिसकी बैठ कर email लगा रहा हूँ Oh, like he delegated authority to you. I come this way, he goes that way. Chalo, inshallah, assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Is that one of the electric ones? Yeah. No, man, I'm too scared to ride that. Let me know when this starts. Which one is that's for Facebook and this one's for YouTube or what?
That's Facebook. This is the YouTube.
The YouTube now we have it mobile?
Yeah. Yeah, we're using a third-party app. Connect to YouTube. Streamlabs.
This is ready? Half an hour, everything done, right?
Yeah.
I take it, right?
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I just want to remind everybody, please make sure when you step out of your vehicle for salah, you do have a mask on. This is something we take very seriously. We all know that this coronavirus at this time is now spreading more than it ever has since the start of this pandemic. So we want everybody to be extra careful. Please sit in your vehicles during the khutbah, and when you come out during salah, make sure you don't come out the vehicle without a mask on. Jazakallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا وسيئات اعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله اما بعد. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. We seek refuge in Allah from the evils of ourselves and the evils of our actions. Whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, there is no one that can misguide him. And whomsoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not guide him, there is no one that can guide him. And I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his final servant and messenger. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As a Muslim, we're required of a few things. The first of which is our creed, our aqidah, our belief in Allah Azza wa Jal as the one and only creator, the one who gives life, the one who takes it, the one who gives us everything in terms of our provisions, our rizq, our wealth, our food, everything that Allah Azza wa Jal gives us everything, and He has the ability to take it away. We have belief that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His final servant, His final messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We believe in all the prophets, we believe in the Quran, we believe in the angels, the last day, and Qadr. And in all of these comprises of our creed, our aqidah, our belief. Coupled with that, there are some actions. And the scholars of Islam say that when you have iman, it's to testify it with your tongue, but then it's also to act upon it with your actions. And that iman or that faith that you have in your heart comes into life or comes into being based on your actions. And with those actions, there are certain things that we're required to do, like our 5 salawats, like our 5 daily prayers, like fasting in the month of Ramadan, like making hajj, like giving zakat. All of these things are required actions, or in some cases people might call them rituals of Islam. These are things that you have to do. These are things that are made compulsory by Allah Azza wa Jalla, the creator of everything in the heavens and the earth. On top of all that, many people, what we do as Muslims is concentrate on these 2 things. On these 2 things, our creed, making sure that our aqidah, our belief system is right, and then that all our arkan, or the rituals, the compulsory deeds of Islam are met. And we neglect a 3rd aspect, and that 3rd aspect is our character. Our character. And remember what I said before, that Iman, your true faith, the true belief that's in your heart, it actually comes out and is shown through your actions. Not only the actions that are required for us to do, like the salah, etc., that we talked about, but also how we treat other people, how we deal with other people, what we say about other people, what the kinds of things we do to help other people. And the Prophet ﷺ is by far, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the best example that we have. لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Surely you will find in the Messenger of Allah ﷺ the best of examples. And we look at his character and look at the way he treated people, the way he commanded people to treat others, the way he preached about sticking, or the high level of the values that he preached, the high level of morals that he enjoined upon the believers. There was one time, and I can't remember the Sahabi's name, but he sent, I think, his son to go listen to the Prophet ﷺ. They weren't Muslim yet. But he said, go listen to what this person is talking about. Go try to find out the things that he's saying. And when the son came back to report to his father, he said that I don't find this man except that he's preaching good. He's only preaching the good values and good morals. This was just from a non-Muslim, a person who didn't accept Islam yet. But he was there to witness the kinds of things and the kinds of values and the morals that the Prophet ﷺ was preaching. The Prophet ﷺ mentions the hadith. He says, إِنَّ مِنْ خِيَارِكُمْ أَحْسَنَكُمْ أَخْلَاقًا. That verily from the best from amongst you is those who have the best character. Those who have the best character. The best of you, أَحْسَنَكُمْ أَخْلَاقًا. The best of you in your character. How is it that we are when we're dealing with other people? When we're communicating with other people, talking to our friends, our relatives, our fellow brothers and sisters, even non-Muslims. How are we when we deal with them? How are we in our speech? Do we backbite? Do we lie? Do we steal? The Prophet ﷺ mentions, and this is the hadith that kind of started the topic, kind of going through my head about what to speak about today. And this was, someone, can you check on this young child here? Make sure he gets back to his car. The Prophet ﷺ asked the Sahaba. The Prophet says, I think his brother might be here. If your child is out of the car, please, I think this is happening now, but have them go back and everyone stay in your cars, inshallah, until after the khutbah, just for the salah, you can exit your car, inshallah. But the Prophet ﷺ asked the companions, do you know who the bankrupt is? Do you know who the one who's bankrupt? And the Prophet and the Sahaba replied back, of course, that the person who doesn't have any money, the person who doesn't have any money or property, that's the one who's bankrupt. And if you were to think about that question today, if someone would ask you who is bankrupt, you'll say, yeah, the person who has a lot of debt, doesn't have any money to pay it off, that's the person who's bankrupt. The Prophet ﷺ said that the real bankrupt person from my ummah is the one who comes on the day of judgment with the salah, with the prayers, with the siyam, the sawm, the fasting, with the sadaqah, the charity, but he will find himself bankrupt on that day. Think about it. You have your belief from his ummah, you have your creed. Now you're coming on the day of judgment with your fast, your prayer, your salah, your charity, everything, you're coming with it. But the Prophet ﷺ is saying that this person is bankrupt. He doesn't have anything. Why? Because on that day of judgment, he will have all his good deeds taken away from him. Why? To pay back those people that he harmed in this dunya. To pay back those people that he spoke ill about, that he lied about, that he shed the blood of, that he took away from, without his haqq, or without the rights, taking away that property unjustly. And all of his good deeds now are going away from him and going to repay those people that he harmed in this dunya. And that's how he became bankrupt. That's how he became bankrupt. That all of his good deeds are gone. And then on top of all that, once his scales are done, just say now all of his good deeds are gone to repay that person. Now he comes and the bad deeds of those individuals will come to him to make the balance set. To repay everything that he harmed the person or she harmed in this dunya. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from being bankrupt. Protect us from being bankrupt. And reminder for myself and to you of how this person became bankrupt. We concentrate a lot on our own deeds, everything, but we forget about how we're treating other people in ways that we may be harming other people. There's one other hadith that I wanted to share today, and this is a good kind of summary of where we can start in doing good unto others. And this hadith where the Prophet ﷺ says, and it's reported in Sahih Muslim, that he says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, "Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir, falyuhsin ila jari." That the person who believes in Allah and the last day, that he should do ihsan, he should do good. And ihsan has a whole ocean of meaning, very deep meaning of the word ihsan. But you do good to your neighbors. You do good to your neighbors. Whoever believes in Allah in the last day, فَلْيُحْسِنْ إِلَىٰ جَارِهِ. Be good to your neighbors. It doesn't matter if they're Muslim or not. Your neighbors have a right with you. And this is one of the sayings of the past is that you choose your neighbors before you even choose where you live. Choose your neighbors before you choose where you live. Like you find a house that you like, and then you look around it, who's there. The scholars of the past said, look at it the opposite way. Find the right neighbors, and then buy a house in that area where you have good neighbors and you can do good to them. And remember that neighbors doesn't only mean that you live next to them. Neighbors can mean more about your community, etc. And also anyone, the scholars have mentioned that anyone who's next to you, even if it's just for a short amount of time, you're standing in line somewhere. Nowadays we're 6 feet apart in lines, right? But they're still next to you. And so that you should do good to them. Don't do anything while you're standing in that line that will harm those people next to you. Anywhere you are, right, in your life, if there are people next to you, apply this hadith. فَلْيُحْسِنْ إِلَى جَارِهِ. Be good to the people that are next to you or your neighbors. The second one is مَنْ كَانَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ فَلْيُحْسِنْ إِلَى جَارِهِ. وَمَنْ كَانَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ فَلْيُكْرِمْ ضَيْفَهُ. That you should honor your guests. Be hospitable to your guests. Anytime that you have an opportunity to serve someone else, take advantage of that opportunity and serve them honorably. Give them the best of what you have. Give preference for what, the good things that you have. Give preference to other people those things. And even during this pandemic, and mashallah, the volunteers, they call them the helpers of ICCL, or the hospitality committee. MashaAllah, throughout the pandemic, they've been distributing food here. Many of us have even participated in that, our iftars and other dinners during the drive-thru here. Just last week, out of what came as a surprise to me at least, was that the city of Laurel, and the mayor, reimbursed ICCL for the expenses that we had, the donations that we had that were spent in this cause of serving other people. The city of Laurel presented us with a check of almost $30,000. Allahu Akbar. $30,000 from the city of Laurel to ICCL to repay us for everything that this community spent. And this is something obviously that we'll take and we'll put forward to more dinners. We'll put forward to more, taking care of our neighbors and our guests. But it's something, mashallah, that you should be happy of. You should be proud of as a community, that your efforts got recognized in this way. And we know that the Prophet ﷺ and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have already, promised us that anything that we give in charity, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will replace it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will replace it. And it will come from places you never imagined. Right? It will come from places you never imagined, and it will come as a surprise like this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from everyone. But فَلْيُكْرِمْ ضَيْفَهُ, that you honor your guests. Give the guests the best of what you have, the best seat in the house, the best food that you have. Honor your guests. Honor your guests. And in general, in the community, it applies to both the neighbors and your guests. Anytime you're here at the masjid or in your communities and your social gatherings, think about these two hadith, or these 2 points. And then the last part of this hadith, where the Prophet ﷺ mentions, after the neighbors and the guests, he says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَمِنْ كَانَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا أَوْ لِيَصْمُتْ, in a different narration. That whenever you speak, and any time you're speaking, say something good or be quiet. Say something that is good or keep silent. If you don't have anything good to say, don't say it. Don't say it. And this, subhanAllah, is something that's so important. How easily we get trapped and kind of tangled in this web of backbiting. When we're speaking about other people, we're just constantly. And you know that when you speak about people 9 times out of 10, it's something degrading to them. It's something degrading. And so the Prophet ﷺ finishes the 3 in this hadith, that if you don't have anything good to say, just keep quiet. Don't say anything at all. Don't say anything at all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this from us, allow us to embody in our character the full sense of Iman, this full way of life that we have accepted, this deen of Islam, that He rectifies our character to be the best of characters, so that when people see a Muslim, they look at him or her and say, that's what I want to be like. That's the character that I wish to exemplify. That's the character that I want my family, my children, and everyone to follow. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be those best of examples following in the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ, and obviously to serve Allah and Allah alone. The last thing I wanted to mention is truly heartbreaking news that we had earlier this morning, that one of the young sisters of our community, the young girl who actually attended our ICC Academy a few years back as well, 6-year-old Minal Ahmed, the daughter of Amina and Murtaza Ahmed, had passed away early this morning. SubhanAllah, only 6 years old. Her janazah today is in Colombia at the cemetery at 3:30, so if you have time, you can go attend the janazah and the burial at 3:30. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is, subhanAllah, one of the most beautiful things, and I was reminded of this when my niece passed away. 2-year-old niece passed away some years ago. And the Shaykh, the Mufti that was kind of advising everyone at the janazah, he reminded us of the dua that the Prophet ﷺ would make for when a child passed away. Normally we're used to where a person passed away and we're asking for their forgiveness. We're asking for their forgiveness, right? That Allah forgive the person who passed away. But for a child, they don't have any account. They don't have any account. They'll go straight to Jannah and be under that tree as described to us with Ibrahim alayhi salam. There, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow me now to enter into that area under the shade of, under the care of Ibrahim alayhi salam. But one of the hadith or the dua where the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentions is that you say, Allahumma ja'alha lana farata. And what this means is that, oh Allah, make her, for her parents or for us, a person who goes ahead and prepares for the arrival of others. When you're going on a journey or you're going on some expedition, you might send some people ahead, right? The scouts, the people that go check out the area before the entire group comes and settles in that area. This is what the Prophet ﷺ is making dua for the child, to be that person who goes into Jannah and prepares for her parents' arrival. That she will stand at the gates of Jannah asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to pull her parents into Jannah. Saying, these are my parents, allow them to come into Jannah. And then completing on the dua that وَجَعَلْهَا لَنَا أَجْرًا وَذُخْرًا وَجَعَلْهَا لَنَا شَافِعًا وَمُشَفَّعًا. That she makes them a source of reward and kind of an investment or a treasure, and that she is made an intercessor and a person whose intercession is accepted. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept her and her family, give her family patience in these troubling times. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله
أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا ومن سيئات اعمالنا. من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله. اما بعد فقال تعالى بعد اعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لقد كان في رسول الله أسوة حسنة لمن كان يرجو الله واليوم الآخر. وقال تعالى وإنك لعلى خلق عظيم. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليحسن إلى جاره ومن كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم ضيفه ومن كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكن خيرا أو ليسكت أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. أستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور انفسنا وسيئات اعمالنا. من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان محمدا عبده ورسوله. اما بعد اعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ان الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا برحمتك شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عاديت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى
وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. وقال تعالى فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون. وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Brothers, try to do it. Sisters, try to make the lines as straight as possible. Look to the cars next to you. Remember to maintain 6 feet distance and make sure you have your masks on outside of the car.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى. إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت. فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا من تولى وكفر
فيعذبهم الله العذاب الأكبر إن إلينا إيابهم ثم إن علينا حسابهم الله سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله
Assalamu alaikum. Just a couple announcements, inshallah. Yusuf Randall, our ICCL community member, is requesting dua for his wife who is in the hospital, Anita Randall. May Allah place her into a healthy state, inshallah. Ameen. Couple more quick announcements. We do have our Friday night halaqah today. We do not have the English tafsir program, that was canceled, but we do have the kids story time and the women's story time. The kids story time is, the kids story time and women's lecture will be from 8 to 9 p.m. I'm sorry, the kids story time will be 6:15 to 7:15 p.m. and the brothers and sisters lecture will be from 8 to 9, inshallah. All streamed live on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ICCL Live. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.